What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BroTech Gaming Podcast. My name is Carlos. This is the homie Sean, and we are back with The Last of Us Season 2 on HBO. I am so happy that it's back. What about you?
I'm happy it's back. Um, yeah, man. I wasn't ready to start it. Like I texted you. I'm just like I'm making me some sweet potatoes first. Uh, but yeah, I'm glad it's back. I'm glad I got to watch the episode. Um, you want to give like a rating for it? Or you want to do it like later? Because I'm ready to give like what I thought about the episode.
I think we could do that later. That way,
Okay.
everybody has to watch it to see our rating.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, clickbait. So why don't you let's get started with it, man. So what do you want to talk about with the episode? I got a lot of things I want to cover. Um some pros, some cons. Like let's start with the pros.
All right, yeah. So it seemed like the show, like, kind of stayed close to the source material. They kind of strayed off a little bit, which I actually liked. Um, so I know that scene with the isn't it like when they? Oh no, it's different. Okay, I'm trying to remember how it was. Um, but yeah, so instead of I can't remember his name, the Asian dude, going to get Ellie, it was Dina that went to go get Ellie, because that's usually how the game starts off. And then they go on their run. So we kind of get a little bit of more backstory inside of Jackson before they go out on their run. But I don't think the run adds up to the game. Like it doesn't line up for me. But other than that, so we got introduced to Dina, talking to Joel about the circuit breaker that he was trying to fix, and she brings up that Ellie is mad at her, but we don't know why. He doesn't know why. I mean, he kind of has an idea why, but he's not telling anybody why. And Dina's just kind of like left in the dark. So that was cool. It gives a little bit more material that they're gonna bring later to kind of explain to us, why she's mad at him. But yeah, I mean, what did you think about that?
I think it made sense. Like the pacing was definitely a little different. One thing right off the bat, like we're introduced to um Abby's
Abby.
party pretty much like immediately. Um like in the game, I feel like we're gonna do a lot of like the game versus show comparisons. I'm okay with them changing things up a little bit for the narrative in the show because I feel like it builds more story. I like that we know who Abby is right off the bat and what her motivations are. We don't entirely know, and this is just coming from like the show's perspective. Like we know that she's going after Joel. We kind of know why, but kind of don't know why really. Like we don't know who Abby is, but we only know that Joel's responsible for like a lot of deaths from the fire, like with the Fireflies group. That's kind of how it starts out. Um, I like that they're giving Dina a little bit more character building. I don't feel like we got a lot of that in the game because you're always playing as one perspective of either like Joel or Ellie in the game. So I like that they're kind of introducing a lot of characters early. I will say that about the episode so far.
Yeah, the introduction to Abby was a little off for me because I think in the game she was still a little kid.
Hmm.
When they kind of introduce her, not really introduce her, but when they talk about her, like she's a little kid, and I guess in the show she's already grown up. So I mean, it doesn't change anything. It's only 5 years. I mean, obviously you can see that Ellie didn't grow up any. She's still the same. She looks like a kid, but now she's 19. Acting like a 19-year-old. So yeah, so with Abby, I'm excited to see that because at the end of the episode it does show her finding Jackson, kind of like far away. So they still have a little trek to do.
Hmm.
In the preview, they do show them at the resort. So I'm kind of guessing that's
Yeah.
gonna happen next episode, or they might just skip that and that'll be like the beginning of episode 3 or something.
Yeah, one thing I'm also glad about, which we talked about this on our sort of Last of Us preview episode, they did bring back the concept of like the cordyceps being able to like send signals potentially. So we saw the cut open pipe that they were working on, and we saw like the cordyceps that were actually sticking through there. So we can definitely see that there's a potential threat looming. So I'm kind of glad that they tied things into that. Um, I thought we got a pretty good scene when they were going through the grocery store. We got to see a stalker for the first time, and I thought that was actually pretty good, the way it was portrayed. Like that felt like it was right out of the video game. So I thought that was kind of cool. We got to see the therapist a little bit, which we don't really have much backstory on her other than apparently Joel killed her husband, which I'm gonna assume that she says he had to. So I'm assuming that maybe he was infected or something, or that something might have happened to where he had to kill him. So yeah, I mean it was a mostly like okay episode. I think I thought the parts that were parallel to the game, I think did it some justice. Um, it's hard for me to buy in on Dina and Ellie's relationship. They're a little bit of a mismatch. And not because Bella Ramsey's a bad Ellie. I think the parts where Bella Ramsey's like solo, I think are fine. I think she can carry a scene. But it's the reaction that her and Dina have together. Um, I don't know. I'm not buying into it yet. So they're probably gonna have to convince me later that they're kind of like a thing.
Yeah, so the supermarket scene, that whole scene, I really liked it. Because when they're riding around on the horses and they see the bear, I was like, oh shit, they're about to go inside the store and like some shit's about to go down. So you see the truck like parked against the store, and you already know like that's the way in because you played the game. So you're already looking for ways into the store. So I'm like looking at the truck. I'm like, okay, the truck's connected to the roof, and then if you look up there, there's an open window, and that's how they're getting in. So that's what they did. That whole scene with the bottle, it was good until they actually did it, because so Dina's trying to explain to Ellie like, yeah, use the bottle to distract them and then go kill him. And then Ellie's over there like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him, and this slice the neck and all the blood's gonna come out, like she's making a joke out of it, and I was actually laughing at that because it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about like, so she grabs the bottle and then she just throws the bottle in the middle of the hallway. So now the clicker is reacting, like, spinning around 360. And I'm like, that's not how you do it, like you don't throw the bottle in the middle of the hallway and then sneak up on him. You throw him
Like
past.
directly in front of you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
thought about
either
the same
you
thing.
either hit him in the head with the bottle and stun them, or throw him past it so their senses are going that way, and then you sneak up behind him and kill him.
Mhm.
So I didn't like that scene. I get if it's their first time doing it and she's brand new to it and doesn't really know how to do it exactly. Like, that's fine. But I feel like they could have did it way better, at least to satisfy the people that play the games that know that strategy.
Yeah, I think that was definitely added in there specifically for the gamers. Because we never got that in the first season. Like we didn't get any like bottles. We didn't get any bricks. We didn't get any pipes. So I'm glad they threw it in there, but it was kind of like almost like a wasted moment, so to speak. Like it would have been no different if she would have just creeped right up to the clicker and just started stabbing it. Um, the idea that you're gonna throw the bottle like right up the middle of the hallway and then you're gonna like walk toward like the bottle, like she should have at least like chucked it deep into the corner so that it would have went straight to the corner. But it went around the corner and then like down the hallway, and you're like walking up to the clicker anyways. So yeah, it was kind of a wasted moment. Um, yeah, and I mean that's kind of a lot all that happened in the episode. We had the New Year's celebration that was pretty much straight out of the game. There's not really anything like new there per se. It was portrayed pretty much exactly as the video game was. We did get a little bit more backstory with the town and Joel as sort of like a Mr. Fixer. I thought like the sarcasm was funny when he just like the dial, like the hurry up dial or whatever it's called, and then like Tommy comes back and And then Joel's like, yeah, she wants me to build faster. And Tommy's like, oh, did you tell her about the dial? So I do like little things like that because I feel like those are moments that we never got from the game, especially for character building.
Yeah. So we can talk about the therapist scene more. So he was explaining to Dina that he is going to the therapist to work some shit out, but he doesn't want anybody to know. So right after the scene with Dina, he goes to the therapist. Or I guess she's like a psychotherapist, she said.
Yeah, psychotherapist,
Yeah,
not psychiatrist, psychotherapist.
yeah, so she's already been drinking because it's her birthday, and she explains that, when she woke up, she was sad. And she was sad because it was her first birthday in 47 years without her husband. And Joel just kind of stays quiet. So we're like, okay, maybe he just doesn't know what to say. But it turns out that she explains that so Eugene was her husband. It turns out Joel killed the husband, and she said that, I know that you had to do it, but I fucking hate you for it.
Hmm.
So what I'm guessing is the guy from the Matrix. I'm guessing that's gonna be her husband, Eugene. He's the one that grows the pot. And if you guys played the game, you remember that scene when Ellie and Dina go downstairs and they find like a whole warehouse full of weed and they
Yeah,
smoke. So that
yeah,
was all Eugene's little hideout, like his home away from home.
yeah. That makes sense.
So I'm guessing, because this is what I heard, that Eugene was gonna get his own backstory, kind of like how Ted and Bill got their backstory. If that's their name, what's their name? Was it Bill
It was
and?
Bill. It wasn't Ted. Bill and Ted. I think it was Bill and dang man. I don't know. I feel bad. I can't think of his name, but it
Oh,
wasn't
Frank.
Ted.
Frank.
Frank. Yeah, Bill and Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bill and
Bill
Ted's
and Frank.
a different movie. Excellent Adventure.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, so
A lot of
anyways,
weed.
yeah, so so he's gonna get his own backstory. So I'm thinking he's gonna be at that place, his little home away from home, and it's gonna show what happens to him. It's gonna show Joel taking him out. But that's just my theories on it. Just because I heard that he's gonna get his own backstory, so I'm just kind of putting one and one together. So,
Mm,
um,
cool.
so yeah, so from there, he just he leaves because he's not really getting anything out of it. Cause she kind of like sees through his bullshit and is just like, you're not telling me what happened with Ellie, and obviously Joel's gonna take that to the grave from what he did, and like I think from his perspective, he feels like he didn't do anything wrong, so I don't really understand why he feels so bad and like why he would start crying. Because if he had let Ellie stay there, she would have been dead, and then he would have been sad. But because he saved her, like I don't understand the whole why he's sad because he saved her and now she's mad at him. Type
Well,
thing.
I don't think Joel's sad because of the fact he saved her. Joel's sad because he saved her and she hates him for it. Because we kind of already know, like we kind of have an idea that she knows something. I mean, not to put any like weird spoilers out there, but I think that has a lot more to do with it. I think it's just like the resentment that she has toward him, and he sacrificed so much for her, and it's more than just her being like an adolescent teenager. So I don't think it's necessarily like him trying to deal with his demons of like basically murdering 90% of the fireflies, which was still kind of a fucked up thing. Like that was a very unhinged thing to do, because kind of leading up to that moment, the fireflies were kind of the good guys. um, I think it really has more to do with the relationship he has with Ellie, because that's really his only reason for kind of giving a shit about anything at this point. Like he didn't really care about anything before until Ellie, and now he saves her. He has to do some really shitty things to do it, but now she resents him and hates him. So I think that really has a lot more to do with like why he's upset, not so much of the action he did, but the reaction of everyone else.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's been 5 years though. You don't think that she would have forgot about it or gotten over it, or they would have talked about it at least?
We wouldn't have a show, bro. We
Yeah, I know,
wouldn't
I
have
know.
we wouldn't have a show or a game if that was the case.
Talk it out like normal people. The
Yeah,
end.
man. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I
Hmm.
know, I guess they have to do that for, plot purposes, but
Yeah, it's an emotional journey.
yeah, that's fine. So next we could talk about the pipes. So at the beginning of the episode, they cut up the open the pipe, and you see all these like roots coming out of it. And my first thought was, I was like, oh, like like the cordyceps are going through the pipes now. But they had no mention of it. Like he was kind of just pulling out the roots, and it was just like nothing. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not gonna be that. And at the end of the episode, somebody threw a firework next to the pipe, and then you see like the little cordyceps coming out, kind of like feeling the pipe, and then you see like footsteps, and I was like, oh, the clickers are headed that way, but it was actually Abby, which that was like a good like fake out for me because I did not expect Abby to come out at the end of the episode. So
Yeah.
props to them for that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, actually, I kind of felt the same way. I thought that maybe they were going to show some clickers nearby, but it looks like they're gonna do a little bit more setup with Abby and her group. So I don't know if you watched the preview after the end of the episode, but they showed a lot of scenes where like Abby and them are setting up in a cabin and they're trying to figure out what the plan is. So we might have like a few episodes of her and her group before we find out what's happening in the town. So yeah, the pacing's okay for me right now. Um, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. So the other thing that we got was the dance, or the New Year's Eve celebration. And so Ellie says that she had to get like half drunk just to go over there, and then Dina's over there like party hardy. I guess she like smoked a lot and she's over there dancing, which was pretty cool.
Mhm.
So they start dancing together, and then like you can obviously tell that Ellie like really likes her. You don't really get that same like feeling from Dina that she likes her too.
Mhm.
But so they start dancing, and then Ellie's like, every person, every guy in this room is looking at you, and she's all like, and Dina's like, they're probably looking at you. So Ellie's like, well, I'm not a threat, and then Dina's like, you're like the biggest threat to everybody, like in a good way, not like they're gonna kill you. Um, and then they start making out, and then Seth, which is from the game, I guess he's like a bartender, like in the game, he's the one that gives them sandwiches before they leave. So he calls them a name, and then Ellie turns around like what, and then Joel just comes out of nowhere and like pushes the shit out of him, and he goes flying. So, and like I didn't really understand why Ellie was mad that Joel like kind of like took her side and was like protecting her. Like I know she doesn't want Joel to do anything for her, but it's still like I think Ellie's coming off a little bit kind of hot. She's laying it on too thick in this first episode, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's all gonna make sense later. But
I
yeah,
think
that
I think that's the point though, because it's that was not much different than it was in the game. Like in the game, you definitely felt like there was some animosity from Ellie, and maybe that's the contrast that we need to have is like Bella Ramsey's Ellie is a lot more pissed off at Joel than Ashley Johnson's Ellie. Like Ashley Johnson was still pissed at Joel, but she was still kind of like it was definitely more of the adolescent teenager to her dad kind of pissed off. So yeah, I mean that being said, I guess Bella Ramsey's is a little bit more heated towards him, but I think it's just because of the way they're trying to like set up each episode.
yeah. So something that we did miss talking about. So Ellie did get bit while she was in the store.
That's
So
right.
she got bit. She hit it. So I mean, we all know that she's immune to it because she was screaming it at the beginning of the episode. But
Yeah.
so she went into the mirror. She sterilized the knife, and she kind of made like a circle out of the bite. Like my thinking was that she was trying not to make it look like a bite and more maybe like a puncture mark, like when she fell from the through the ceiling.
Mhm.
So that was my take on it, and I don't know. I mean, what did you think about that scene?
Yeah, I mean it was pretty straightforward. Just she wanted to conceal that it was a bite mark, whether it was like a scar or just some kind of wound in some way. But it kind of makes sense. She doesn't want anyone to know that she's immune. We all know that she's immune. I thought it was actually kind of a cool scene. Like the scenes that Bella Ramsey is carrying by herself, I think are very good. I'm just not sold when she's sharing the screen just yet.
Yeah. So I'm actually happy that Isabella Merced is in this show. I feel like her acting is really good and she's very believable as Dina.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I'm just happy that she's in this show, and I hope to see more of her because from the preview, it looks like she has some like really good scenes coming up.
Yeah, yeah, I would say that they're definitely. I mean, we're only going to get what, like 8 or 9 episodes, so it looks like there's a lot of scenes with her in it, and I think her acting ability is probably for me going to help with Bella Ramsey's scenes a lot. I feel like the scenes that they're together, I feel like Isabella Merced is a lot more dominant in the scene than Bella Ramsey is. Like Bella Ramsey still feels like a kid to me in a lot of those scenes where they're together, and maybe that's the way they wanted to play it out, you know. But I think that Isabella Merced carries the scenes a lot more than Bella Ramsey does. But I think that's a good thing. I think she's a good actress.
Yeah. So anything else that we missed that you wanted to talk about?
Um,
We
Not
kind of
really.
jumped around on
Yeah,
this episode.
yeah. I think, I mean, it was a pretty straightforward episode. I mean, there's not really a lot to speculate. Obviously, there's definitely a lot more going on in my mind, but I don't want to spoil anything. Like I want to keep it as much just to like the show as possible. Um, but like overall, I think it was a good episode. We got to see a lot of characters. We got to see like the motivation behind the season. We got to see a few clickers already. Like I feel like we already got more clickers in this one episode than we did in like half of season one, which is cool. I just want a little bit more of the emotional connection between like Ellie and Dina. I, I want I want Bella Ramsey to act more grown up. Like I know a lot of people are griping on the fact that she doesn't look like she's grown up. I think she looks fine. I want her acting to be more grown up at this point now. So yeah, that's where I'll leave off on that.
All right, sounds good. So we can go into our, what do you call it?
Rating, episode rating.
Yeah, so we can go into our ratings. I'll let you go first.
So for the reasons that I explained, I'm gonna give it a 7. I want to give it a 7. The reason being is for like game accuracy, everything they had on the game was pretty good. They didn't try to do too much. They didn't like pull anything back. I just felt like the emotional interactions between all the characters just felt kind of like stagnant, a little flat. Like Joel's character felt a little flat. Ellie's character, was still kind of like a typical like teenager type Ellie, but I want a little bit more grown up Ellie. That's why I gave it a 7. Not bad, but still room for improvement.
All right. So I'm kind of gonna go opposite. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's just from the excitement from the show being back, and I like the whole episode. I was just like, I love this. Like, I love that this show is back, and I'm watching it again. And I just never want this episode to end. I just wanted to go through like the whole season right now, just watch the whole thing. But fortunately, it's not how HBO works. We get one episode a week, so I'm gonna give it a 9, just because I liked how they introduced the new characters. We got all of Abby's new team. We They didn't really, go one by one and say their names, which is fine because I think a lot of them are just kind of like extra characters in the group. They're more known just for being a group and not like solo. Um, we got to see Tommy's kid, so he's like around like 5 years old, because the wife was pregnant in the last season. So it's cool to see him. Um, yeah, like Joel looks a little bit older. He That first scene of him like coming out working on the circuit breaker, I was like, is this Joel or like Mr. Fantastic over here looking like a scientist with the glasses? So I like the fighting with Ellie at the beginning where she was fighting that big dude. It's kind of showing her strength and able to like hold her own against like a big ass dude, which is pretty cool. But when they started that scene, I was just like, oh, she's practicing right now. Like I know she's not in any threat right now.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe that's why I didn't rate it quite as high because I feel like I understand the reasons why they're doing all that. Like I feel like they put that scene early on so that we could buy in that Ellie is a lot more grown up and capable of taking care of herself now. So it felt kind of forced for me. But like I said, like I don't think like it's not like a bad 7. It's just like 7 for room with improvement. But I feel like the only reason why they did that is because like, oh yeah, like Ellie can take care of herself. Like we need her to be more capable and more independent.
Yeah, and so I like the setup that they did with the cordyceps in the pipe. We know that there is future threat coming, and if you see the previews, you see Tommy with the flamethrower. Um, that looks like it's gonna be an awesome scene. You also see Tommy like running through the city, like kind of like Rick was, just like headshotting um, the clickers and shit in the street.
See, I actually liked the Tommy showing the Ellie how to shoot from distance too. Like I thought like the sniper shooting was pretty cool. Um, so I hope we get more of that. I feel like the action is already like so much better in this episode. So if anything, like whatever they can't leverage from like the emotional stuff, I hope they can leverage with the action. Because overall it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, so I think we can wrap it up. Yeah, so we'll be back next weekend, next Sunday, right after the episode. We're gonna film our podcast, put it up, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Because we are super happy that the show is back, and I can't
Mhm.
wait till next Sunday. Now I have purpose to be excited for Sundays again.
Yeah, looking forward to next Sunday.
All right, please like, subscribe. There's a bunch of links in the description if you guys can click on those. We have our Instagram, which we're trying to grow. We post a lot of stuff on there. Not really a lot of stuff, but I'm trying to post a lot of stuff. Um, I've been trying to be consistent with it, but like more people following will probably give me motivation to post more stuff. So do your business down there, and we will see you guys on the next one.
See you guys next week. Bye.